very quickly.
I mean, I completely agree. Also surprised at Swizzy and Pixie. The amount of teams that are in there at Dark Dominion right now, I broke it down at the beginning of the day. It's likely to be happening, but not to this degree. I wasn't expecting it to be this much, so they're struggling a little bit more than I expected to them.
I'd like to see them at the beginning of the game if we can. So let's head over, get ready for game 4 with Taco and Takata.
Thank you, Frankie. Yeah, it's very tough for Swizzy and that players like kind of joining the party uninvited, but you'd normally expect like maybe 1, 2. There was like 5 duos there going against Swizzy and Pixie. Like, are you kidding me? It looked like they were going to be on Con originally, but it's just not going that way.
At the moment that Truly and Gonzo started to play a little bit of disruption factor, that's what's really drawing so much more attention inwards onto that mid-map position. So if we can take control of Dark Dominion, then we'll have ample opportunity to rotate elsewhere after the fact, and it's just caused so many issues for Swizzy and Pixie clearly here today. But it is only day 1, Takata, and we've got game 4 that's about to begin, so I really can't wait to see what happens next to kind of round things off for the day.
Yeah, halfway through the matches to kick things out. 12 total matches will be played throughout day 1 and day 2. And thinking in terms of the higher end of the leaderboard, a lot of these top duos, their average placement really isn't that good. The only one that's in the top 10 range is Sky and Scroll. Let's see what happens next. Game 4 is ready to go.
Hey, we've at least got a little bit of an overview in terms of what's been happening at Dark Dominion. You could already see the immediate 50-50 contest right there from Truly Gonzo, but also Reason, Noah Riley trying to defend the gas station. This time, Xteri adapted just because of the bus path. They're going to actually opt to see if they can beat Reason and Noah Riley to the punch for the first touchdown inside the gas station. Reason has been eliminated. Noah Riley manages to open up his first chest, does get an iron pump out of it, but 2 versus 1. This is going to be a rough way. Noah, though, keeping his composure, gets a little bit too aggro. Yeah, it's gonna be a disengage here, Takata. He knows that he can't really afford to be eliminated just yet, but Xteri adapted, striking back at the worst possible time for Noah and Reason.
It's tough because despite Noah Reason having won 3 of their off spawns so far, they're still 26 on the leaderboard. They've gotten 29th in a match, 28th, 11th, and that is... Sorry, I just kind of lost my words there. That is not the way you want to start Dark. Good end games are 250 to 300 points for a top 20. When we say good end game, we mean top 5 with 4 eliminations. So if you're like Noah and Reason, who are contested off spawn, when they win their off spawns, they got 28th, 11th, 29th. That's just not good enough to be in that range to qualify. So they're gonna have to pick up the pace as we continue forward. So the good news is we've only played out 3 matches, another 3 to go today, and then tomorrow a whole other 6. So for Sky and Scroll, at least, they are comfortably sitting in that #1 spot.
And the main thing for them is they just want to keep trying to extend. Head, second place, Chino Pablo sitting at 156 heading into this 4th lobby. So Sky, Scroll, they're not looking to let their foot off the gas pedal anytime soon here. And they've really done an excellent job, I think, at kind of proving the analyst as points from that pre-show, Takata, because so far their worst placement on the day is a 10th, and that was with 4 eliminations in tow.
Yeah, and they're the only team that has an average placement better than 10. Everybody else is 10 or worse, which is honestly quite interesting. It just shows how difficult this lobby is. They're currently average placement of 6, so I wouldn't expect anything less. I mean, having an average placement of 4 in the Div Cups leading up to this, Sky and Skrull, they know how to play consistently.
It's always going to be a sight over at Wonkyland, though. Twek and Midro actually taking a stab right now at Shark and Teeny, and they've been eliminated. This surprise aggression just pulling up, catching Shark Teeny completely off guard here, not allowing them any opportunity to recover. Even with the Twin Hammer shotties, Twek just felt very confident in that aggression, and have to expect that Shark and Teeny, they were so low, likely from having just fought Huddy and Fishy is what I'm guessing, but either way, Takada, they'll be sent packing, waiting for Lobby 5.
There was like a third party that came through, I guess that's my assumption, but either way, that is not how you want to conclude a match like this, especially when the most recent matches for Shark Teeny have been 27th and 18th. They've been getting eliminations, but in the end games, it's just not been going their way. Chat Flixie, they had a good zone in the last match, but you can't pull good zones every single game. Good news is when you're up there, you do have the super pad. Takes you over 330 meters in the sky to combine it with the Flowberry overdrive. So they've got the rotate on lock, rotated in early. And for Swizzy, we saw how this match started. Let's hope it doesn't end that way.
It's always going to be an uphill battle, though, when you're left as a solo. The reboot opportunity, a little bit more difficult to come by because there are just so many teams kind of rotating through that position. And so it makes it difficult because obviously sound audio cue is going to draw attention, and then you have to deal with everybody else taking your duo one more time, just putting your net surge even further and further into the dirt. Lunix and Wolvex, though, they might have to contend with Yepko and Panzer soon enough at Painted Palms. Both of those duos kind of just taking things in stride here today. Khan and Faded, a duo that has already confirmed themselves for one LAN taking place this year. Takada, later on with the Reload Elite Series finish that they had, knowing that they're going to be on the battle bus for the EWC LAN later on this year, but they would obviously like to join the top 20 players for the Major One Summit LAN too.
That would be ideal, being able to make both. Kamihari, we mentioned it earlier, Kami's now leaving the pack in finals appearances, but I'm just gonna ignore, forget what happened in the last match, okay? Let that not affect our mental. Continue on forwards. Other than that, I've been very impressed with Hari and Kami. They've been playing aggressive for height. It's been working most of the time. Due to the early game, they've been put into a bit of desperation here. They need a damage, they need loot. But I don't know if Chap and Flixie is the duo you want to fight.
Looks like they might have gotten what they needed, though, no? Flixie's shield being so low tells me that he took a lot more damage than what he was anticipating from Pixie Swizzy, and that allowed them the primary opportunity to disengage. Probably still in a little bit of a hole, though, with their net surge overall, given that opening point, but something's better than nothing at this stage. His new Sanctuary continues to be just carved out. Scary and Saez making sure that there is no scrap metal left behind.
They're aware, though, there are quite a lot of players. You can look at the minimap, 3 different duos in the surrounding area. And then when you're playing in a finals lobby like this, the patterns, you got to remember them. Glove G Prax already kind of rebuilding up their tower. There was another one north of them. Vico Malabuka, it's not been going horribly for them. I mean, they're top 10. They're well in qualifying range for Dusseldorf, but when you think of the name Vico, when you think of the name Malabuka, these are FNCS champions. They have LAN experience. This is some of the best in EU. It's those veteran players. So I'd like to see them higher up, but can't complain with the top 10.
Great opportunity though right now for Yepko and Panzer. Already got some initial damage onto Sliz, and Panzer will be able to convert it into just a clear elimination now. Quali just trying to stay hidden, hoping that Yepko Panzer got a rock for coverage right now. But this is always just so awkward because it just puts such a massive delay into your overall plan. You can see already that zone pulling a little bit more southern. Schwali's gonna have a lot of ground to make up for here, and don't know how long Yepko and Panzer are actually gonna choose to stick around.
Yeah, but Yanis, even though, much more favorable position. We've seen what they end up doing with all the surge bases here. You do have to be careful now though, because you try tagging the other surge bases, but you take damage yourself. It is the net surge now. So it's not quite as easy as before.
Was not really liking those up close and personal fighting options though.
Oh,
Great Twin Hammers, Grey Iron Pump, it's rough, but
interesting.
Hydra and Tweg, they've got control of the Mending Machine, a couple of patch-ups. Putty Fishy though, they are just trying to see if they can break into the box. They want to get really aggressive here against Twek and Hydro, and for good reason. Fishy gonna open up with a big knock. That just means it's all down to Twek to try and defend this duo's hopes here, but it's just not gonna be enough, and there is so much time now for Huddy and Fishy. They've got the wheel to make their next rotate, but we saw what happened inside of the heat that they played. The one lobby that they didn't have to worry about Shark and Teeny at all, they were able to convert into a victory royale, Takada. So now the question is, can they do it again in a set lobby finals?
Well, based on the way they've started out this day, they basically have to. Is all I'm gonna say. 43rd place, 8 points. They need a massive match here. For 9 though, the quick zipline shot. But yeah, I'm hoping we see Huddy and Fishy make something happen, because I would like to see them up there.
Nathan and Nebzo over by Sus Studios, just kind of hanging around their surge base, but they're going to need a little bit more search. Only 34 above net threshold. Venus and Franek not too far away from their current position, but they'd rather take shots at the teams that are still working their way in from Storm, teams that just want to make it into the next edge of zone in the first place. That's why we're seeing a lot of teams that are kind of hurting for search, just lingering around the edge of zone. They know that's likely going to be their best opportunity. So the first ones, you always want to take advantage of the late arrivals, but have to be wary. The moment you send out shots, you might even draw attention from other teams that are, you know, maybe boxed up a little bit higher than you. We've seen players get punished for that before.
That we have. Lucia, Howley.
To take advantage of those chug jugs left after the fact. So despite a rocky start, this is looking like a